Hi, everyone. This is Elyse Saunders, a rising country music artist in Canada, and recently the winner of Female Artist of the Year at the 2024 CMA Ontario Awards. This is a big achievement for you, ending off 2024 on a really high note. And your song, Never Have I Ever, also reached top 30 in Canada's country media-based charts. And your song also reached number 6 on Australia's national radio airplay charts. So today we're going to be talking with Elyse Saunders and getting to know about her background and how she got into country music. So I guess the first question that I have been really curious about is how did you get into country music living in Canada?
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. So country music, I actually grew up listening to all types of music. I love all music. To me, a good song is a good song. And it was, being inspired by what my parents were listening to. I was kind of divided between two homes of, Peterborough, where my mom lived. I was born
Mhm.
there, but also spending part of my life as well in Mississauga, where my dad lives. So I kind of have two hometowns. So I would say it's just, listening to all types of music and really resonating with what connected to me as an artist. I used to, grew up singing in competitions and I would range from pop songs to country songs. And it seemed like my voice really fit into country. And I
Mhm.
started working with my very first mentor really early on. I was just a teenager and he had said to me, we got to pick a lane for you. We got to pick a genre. And I did a lot of soul searching and I was like, country music is it feels right to me. I love that I can share real stories. I can still be myself.
Yeah.
And that like, country music fans are some of the most loyal people in the world just to be down to earth. So I think that's kind of how I got into country music. And then, you know, being in Nashville really early on with my mentor,
Mhm.
releasing my first album and kind of, just being kind of thrown into the world in a professional way, I became addicted and it's been nonstop ever since.
I really like that you went into country. It's quite different from a lot of artists in Canada who pursue more of like I would say pop instead of country. So, and the fact that you're making such big highlights in the radio, so that looks really good. Your new single, Never Have I Ever, hit top 30 in Canada and it reached number 6 in Australia. And I just want to know, how does it feel to see your music resonate internationally?
It's surreal. It's been a bucket list of mine to be able to reach audiences internationally and go international. So then to finally see that as a dream come true.
Mhm.
This past year, I've been doing the 10-year overnight success of putting in my dues, developing as an artist, and really excited about the sound that I'm creating right now and the songs I'm releasing. And so to have it first go, I guess, a top hit in Canada, and then to go to Australia for the first time and see it fly up the charts to number 6 was just so cool. And then just to know that they're loving my music is pretty special. And now the next thing is to go visit Australia and start performing over there. And I hope to do a lot more internationally.
Oh, nice. So maybe like a world tour someday.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a dream.
Nice. Your other new single, Dirt, is already seeing impressive numbers. Can you tell us more about the story behind that song? What inspired you to write that song?
So I was going through something at the time. All of my songs come from real places, whether it's my own story or a friend's story that I'm inspired by. So Dirt was something I was struggling with something personal at the time, and I had a writing session with my friends Sam Davs and David Madraz. And I sat down with them that day, and I was like, I really want to get this off my chest. And
Mhm.
for me, I think the best way of healing from something that's really bugging me or a topic that can be a bit of a challenge is to take that pain and turn it into something a little more light or joyful. If you can make a song out of it and it connects to other people's stories, I feel like that's the best way. So I think it's a relatable topic that we can all relate to. And no matter who you are, where you come from, we're all kind of walking on the same dirt in life, but also we're all going through our own personal life dirt. And that's the whole thing is I think that we're a lot more similar than maybe we realize. And it's easy to judge someone else's dirt, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's all the same. So I wanted to write a song about that in kind of a humorous way and a light
Mhm.
way. And uh, and I'm a big fan of writing songs with double entendres. So it's that meaning of the two different kinds of dirts and just my personal experience of coming from a small town. It's funny how you can share a story with somebody and then it becomes like this whole line of broken telephone and this hilarious story can come out of it. So
Yeah.
we had a lot of fun writing it and kind of capturing that sort of thing. And it can relate to a small town, but also can relate on a worldwide level as well. So that's kind of where it all comes from.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, you have had 16 different outside cuts by other artists across multiple genres. Is there any kind of difference between writing songs with them and then writing songs for yourselves? And how do you manage it?
So I love songwriting. I've been writing songs since I can remember. I think it's just such a special way to be able to express yourself that way. And sometimes I'll write a song in a session. I love the song, but I'm like, this isn't for me. I'm going to use it as a pitch song. And recently I had a friend cut one of my songs, and I knew it wasn't necessarily for myself, but she loved it. It was perfect for her story. But then there's other times that I'll go into a session specifically co-writing for that artist and that artist story, which I love the most because sitting down in a session, I usually like to look at people's social media beforehand and really figure out what makes them them as a person, what makes them unique, and what's their essence and who are they, what is their voice. So I love doing that beforehand and then really just chatting with them and getting to know like what is going on in life for you right now and we'll take inspiration from that. And I try to think about writing the song from their perspective or their voice, and then obviously leaning on them. And it's pretty amazing to then walk away with a song that hopefully suits their story.
Mhm.
And I also love dabbling in other genres. I've been getting into writing for pop punk,
Okay,
which is fun.
nice.
I grew up listening to a lot of pop punk as well, so it's come pretty naturally to me. So there's a band called Sucker Punch out of Montreal that people should check out. It's been a lot of fun writing for that genre because there's things I could say with them that I would never say in country. So it kind of gives me that chance to explore and to be a little more creative as just separately as the songwriter, not so much the artist.
Understood. It's quite cool to see that you can write for so many different genres. I mean, you would have to, from what I'm hearing, you would have to get to know that person quite well in order to really understand what their type of music is, really, right?
Yeah, I think that's the art of songwriting. I've heard a lot of other writers I look up to say the same thing is I think the unique thing about songwriters is that we're able to be in environments and just kind of really soak up, what's going on, the environment, picking up on details that maybe you wouldn't, because we kind of see the life in more of like a poetic way. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, I think going into a session with that in mind and then treating it like it's a hangout is the best. If you can just hang out with a friend and we end up with a really cool song that they want to use in the end, then we did it right.
Nice. That sounds like a good experience. Priya's gonna take over for here.
You split your time writing between Nashville and Canada. How would you say these two music scenes influence your sound and creative process? And would you say that country music is popular in Canada?
So I would say country music is definitely popular in Canada. It's becoming a lot more trendier than it ever has been. As Lainey Wilson always says, country's cool again. And I think it's just that there's so many, cross genres that are dabbling with country music. We just saw Post Malone make a collaboration album. So I think that's the exciting thing about country music right now is it's becoming a lot more open. It's not so confined, and that there's these different sounds that can be brought to it. And I would say, being in Canada, there's definitely a lot of country music lovers. I would say that the culture of country might be slightly different than Nashville because, they come from the Southern culture, which is a little different. But that's what I love about our Canadian country is that we're going to have stories based off of our culture of Canada that we would include in a song that maybe someone from the US wouldn't. But being in Nashville, I've been going back and forth since I started, just as a teen, and I've seen it, blow up and change and evolve. And I think I wouldn't be the artist I am today if I didn't have Nashville as part of my roots. And I think that anybody wanting to get into country should definitely visit Nashville just because it is the hub of country music and you get to know a lot about the history. It's so easy to collaborate with like-minded people. There's just constantly live music going on everywhere. So it's very inspiring and it's definitely helped me become a stronger writer, become a stronger performer, and just being in that environment, I think it pushes you to keep becoming better.
That makes a lot of sense, going right to the source.
Yeah, exactly.
My next question is, with so much success in Canada, Australia, and beyond, what's next for you?
I have a brand new single coming out to streaming platforms this October. I'm super excited about the song because it shows a little edgier side to me. It's just going to be a DSP release, really put a TikTok focus on it, probably not go to radio with it. But I love that to, just keep exploring sounds and not be stuck to a box too much. And then definitely follow up with some more radio singles in the new year. Working on, keep developing the live show, get it ready for tour season next year and start booking the shows. We're already getting dates for the books for next summer. So, just keep focusing on that, writing songs for myself and other people, and spending a lot more time in Nashville. And you never know. It's like in this type of career, there's all kinds of things that will happen last minute, and you have to move and go with the punches. But yeah, it's just you just continue to do it all.
Do you have any further plans to expand into the US market or any other countries specifically?
I definitely do. I want to start making a little bit more of a mark in the US. It's always been a part of my life as a writer and a collaborator, but now I'm getting to the point that I can spend a lot more time and perform there. So I'm working on all the paperwork and all those things now to be able to do that. And I think that's going to be great, just exposure and just meeting new fans to be able to do stuff in Texas and the surrounding areas of Tennessee. And I hope to get to Australia for a tour as well to meet radio and actually be able to perform Never Have I Ever there. Fingers crossed, maybe this winter. And just keep exploring other options. I'd love to do some stuff in Europe as well because I know they have country music fans there too. So, um, just one step at a time. But I'm excited for it all.
Sounds like you got lots of stuff in the works, which is great. Do you have any advice for the younger generation who want to pursue the same path as you, or perhaps just music in general?
Definitely. I would say when you're choosing this career, for one, good for you for choosing this career. That's the hardest part is saying yes to your dream and making the first steps. It's going to be overwhelming at first. There's a lot to learn. And I'd say before you make any big moves, really try to understand the industry, get yourself out there to conferences, seminars, try to meet other like-minded people and learn as much as you can. Be a sponge. And in the meantime, really just develop your craft and become a better writer, a better singer, performer, and and get to a point where you feel really excited about what you're creating. And then, then the next move is to record and put it out online. That's the amazing thing about the online world these days is that you can do that and you can see what resonates with people. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. I definitely made a lot of mistakes along the way, but learn from those, keep growing, keep believing in yourself because you are the only person to be able to do this is yourself and to be able to lean on yourself, be able to find people that believe in you as well and never take no for an answer because there will always be a lot of no's before there's yeses. But perseverance does pay off, and I feel like I'm an example of that. As I just kept doing it, and I never gave up because I love what I do, and I believe in what I do, and I think that there's room for all of us to do it.
You mentioned the first choice or the first step is saying yes. Was there a point where you didn't want to choose it? Were you hesitant? Could you kind of talk about that?
Yes and no. It was so I would say that I always knew that I wanted to be in the arts somehow. I just loved all forms of creative expression, all arts, and I knew that I loved it. I knew that I wanted to do it, didn't know how to even make those steps. And then it was when I found my first mentor who happened to be in my hometown and he was connected to Nashville. I really lucked out with that. And he really introduced me to the world. And then I had my first opportunity to perform on a stage in front of 10,000 people, which was pretty overwhelming at the time because I think I'd only played publicly in front of 5 audiences at that point, and I had no idea, like, is this something I can even do? And I stepped out on the stage, I did it, and it was that moment that I was like, okay, if I can do this, I know that I can do more. Um, my friends were all going away and following the path that of more schooling and to maybe pursue a career that's like a little more typical. And I remember trying to make the decision at that point where I was like, should I follow that same path with my friends because that's what I'm used to, or should I do something different? And I'm really grateful my parents were actually a big support of saying, you know what, life is short. If you don't try it, you can always lean back on these other school experiences, but just for like at least a year, let's give it a year. Let's try it out, see what happens. And I started being able to prove to myself and to my family that I could do it and that I could accomplish these goals. And even for myself, just to be able to know that I could do it was the biggest decision of being like, okay, yes, let's give this a try and see if I can do it. It's scary going outside your comfort zone, but um, I definitely had that back and forth where I was like, should I take the risk or shouldn't I? And then I realized life is short, so why not? And I'm so glad I did. I wouldn't change it for anything.
I think it's obviously paid off for you really well. And I think that's something great. Like future musicians want to hear that, there are times where maybe you will doubt yourself, but just sticking to your plan and like giving yourself a year because you never know what will happen is a good thing to hear. That's all on my behalf. Do you have anything to say, Tia?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm curious. You said that you have finally started seeing your achievements pay off. You've won Female Artist of the Year. How long did this process take, and how long do you think for any new upcoming artists, how long should they expect before they can really see some kind of a progress or achievement?
Well, they always say, especially in country music, is they call Nashville a 10-year town. They expect the artist to spend 10 years developing their craft and to show some sort of success on their own before any major labels or any industry will even look at them. And that's just because they want you to put the work in, almost like the education. And it's like going to university
Right, right.
for something and just coming out and being a pro. So I think it's kind of like going in with that idea that this could take 10 years.
Hmm.
Sometimes, though, that's not always the case. Sometimes it can be 5 years and someone lucks out and they find the right person and the right team that
Yeah.
sometimes the stars align. But I think going in knowing that it's pretty common and average for musicians to take about 10 years. But if you can accelerate it, then kudos for you because I think that would be awesome. But sometimes it's worth the wait because if you can learn and learn all hats of the industry before you start working with people, I think that you'll be in a lot stronger position and
Hmm.
also a safer position as well that you won't get taken advantage of in the industry as well.
Okay, that's a good idea. I mean, I know that a lot of our viewers are people who are interested in music. A lot of the people that volunteer at CFRE want to really interested in DJing and in going into the music industry, but no one really knows how to get into the music industry per se. So CFRE definitely we try to help people with a little bit of recognition this way or that way, but you know, getting advice from an actual artist who has made a breakthrough in country music in Canada definitely will help a lot of our viewers. So thank you for that.
Oh, I'm
Um,
so happy. And thank you and thank you for your platform that you're
yes.
all doing that for artists and musicians that are wanting to pursue a career in music.
It's our pleasure. And I love having these interviews and talking to artists. Like it builds my connections and I'm really fond of music. I used to sing myself a couple of years ago. So it's definitely something that I love to learn about. Um, but thank you, Elyse Saunders, for taking time out of your busy day to have this interview with CFRE. I had a great time. I don't have anything else to add. If you have anything or if Priya has anything. you can start, or we can end it now.
I would say thanks again, CFRE, for having me. I've really enjoyed our chat. And if anybody would like to follow along, I'm on all the socials, Elyse Saunders, ELYSE. I'd love for you to be a part of my journey. And if there's anything I can do to help, if you have questions, reach out. And yeah, like I said, just take the first step and just keep putting yourself out there and be a sponge and learn, because nobody's path is.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching.